From a cultural and ideological point of view, it's pretty interesting to look at the history. So if you go back to the Enlightenment and the origins of classical liberalism, and say people like Adam Smith or David Hume and others, they simply took it for granted that solidarity, sympathy, mutual aid were core elements of human nature. They were the driving forces in human nature. In fact, take Adam Smith's famous phrase, invisible hand. The way it's interpreted is almost diametrically opposite to the way he used it. In fact, he barely used it, but in one of the, only twice actually, and in one case, which is directly related to this, here's what he argues. He says he was thinking of an agricultural economy, of course. So he said, suppose some landowner accumulates almost all the land, so everybody else has to essentially be his servant. He says, well, this really won't matter very much because the landowner, by virtue of his sympathy for other people and concern for their needs, will make sure that property is distributed so that it'll be relatively equal. So as if by an invisible hand, we'll end up with a fair and relatively egalitarian society. Not a very powerful argument, but it shows the kind of driving concept that underlies classical liberalism, Enlightenment ideals, and so on. Now, all of that ended with capitalism. Adam Smith and David Hume and others are basically pre-capitalist. Capitalist ideology is different. It's get what you can for yourself and kick everyone else in the face. And now it's claimed that that's human nature. Is it? I don't think so. I think Adam Smith, David Hume, and others were basically correct. This is a distorting ideology which is imposed on us and undermines normal human emotions and interactions. It's highly distorting and deceitful. And going back to the environmental crisis, that's what's causing us to race over the precipice. When ExxonMobil executives say, okay, let's lie about the fossil fuels, they're saying what they're doing is pursuing what Adam Smith denounced as, in his words, the vile maxim of the masters of mankind, all for ourselves and nothing for anyone else.
Let's take the Occupy movement. One of their achievements, in fact, I think one of the most important ones, has just been to create communities of solidarity, mutual support, democratic participation. That's a very important achievement. In fact, particular in a society like ours, which is kind of like almost designed to isolate people and separate them from one another, which is a great technique of control, of course. So forming communities based on solidarity, sure, that's very important. And in fact, it's not, that's the reason why the labor movement from its origins has been concerned with solidarity. That's one of its main slogans. We're going to have to work together. We ought to work together because we ought to be helping one another, but that's the only way in which we're going to confront concentrated power.